In the MATILDE project, the role of work in package 5 has been to assess the impact of migration at a local level. For this purpose, 13 case studies have been selected. The selection represents the heterogeneity of rural and mountain areas of Europe. In this working package, the teams have identified challenges on site, depicted the needs of local communities, and reflected on opportunities connected to migration. For this purpose, the participatory approach has been crucial because the work has been necessarily done on site together with local partners, stakeholders, and migrants working together to propose innovative responses to local challenges. The pandemic did not create any particular problem for the progress of the research during the work package 5 because there was a good planning by dividing between activities to be carried out in the presence during summer-autumn period when COVID-19 infections were less frequent and activities that could also be carried out remotely, such as interviews, focus groups, etc.
MATILDE action research activities have been conducting around three main fields that are labor market and economy at local and territorial level, the issue of social inclusion, and the one of the interaction between the community and space, so the territorial dimension. We selected these three main realms as they are, following the literature and already existing research, the main three aspects that we should consider when discussing the possibilities of integration of migrants at local level. When we consider the role of foreign immigrants in our MATILDE regions, as we did during our action research activities, we must acknowledge that this role is important and in many cases even fundamental. Foreign immigrants, labor migrants, but also asylum seekers and refugees do represent a very important labor force with respect to many economies of these even remote regions of Europe. In particular with respect to agriculture, but also industry, tourism, and the services to person and in particular elderly people, immigrants represent a strong component of the local economies. At the same time, they are quite invisible. They are not so recognized as a vital factor for local development. And they face specific challenges in terms of housing, often lacking for them, in terms of differential treatment with respect to their rights as workers, and with respect in general to their inclusion in the local life, in the communities they live, in particular in the remote and mountainous regions. So despite they represent this so important resource, their role is still neglected. When considering the social dimension of the inclusion of migrants in rural, remote and mountainous regions of Europe, we would like to underline that to many respects is still far away the complete and effective inclusion of migrants in these communities. It seems that, by our research results, that migrants often, despite they can rely on some job position, they have quite good economic integration in many cases, they still live some condition of separation by the majority of the society, or even ghettoization to some respects. This is with respect to housing, for example, living condition, the difficulties of creating an intercultural environment, in particular in rural, mountainous, remote regions. So it seems that there is the need for intervening by NGOs, local civil society, as they often do, we may say, in several contexts, but it's not enough. And in particular, there is the need for policies from local actors as from regional and national ones, in order to foster and create the conditions for a multicultural environment, for the creation of public spaces of encounter that are often lacking in these remote territories, and more in general supporting not only a welcoming culture, that is important, but supporting a culture of interaction and not only inclusion, a culture of mutual respect with the aim of building a shared interest, a shared horizon for the development of local communities.
Common to all the case studies of this group is the call for more sociopolitical representation. Migrants tend to be invisible, to live apart with respect to local communities, not appearing in the social texture. Action research outcomes show that this lack of representation can be overcome in different ways. For example, an accurate communication and science-based information regarding migrants, or the design, co-creation and joint maintenance of public spaces by migrants and locals together, or online and social narratives developed by migrants themselves to promote their local territory. Or finally, a more active role of local multicultural associations.